If you want to give a call in, you can give a call in at 804-402-2893. That's 804-402-2893. You will be calling Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is the key to building a legacy. And we're sitting here with Couch Coach Live.
Yeah.
Good stuff first half, man. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Man, it was really, really good stuff because people get to see a different side to you. You know what I mean? You know, you always hitting them with that jab. You know what I mean? And I think you just caught him with like a left hook. You stepped to the. You was like, wow. I was like, where'd that come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's real good stuff. So, man, where are you from?
I'm actually born and raised here in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
well, like as we talked about yesterday, I'm actually, of course, being born here in Richmond, raised in East Highland Park, Virginia.
There you go.
North side, pretty much.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So, how's the team doing? You know, me being from a little south, I've always, anytime they said your school that you talk about, what's the name of the school?
The Highland Springs High School.
I don't think it said D.
Well, I mean, Highland Springs High School.
I was messing with you, man.
The only team in Henrico County history ever won a state championship. I might add twice.
Throw it at yeah. Actually, the team that beat Frank Mason's team at the Virginia State tournament, I remember that because my mom went. You know what I mean? So, how long have you been doing this Couch Coach Live?
Couch Coach Live was actually born on July 19th, 2014.
Okay. What made you do that?
As far as just the show in general? Or
just all of it, man. You know,
to be honest with you, how I really started thinking about doing this since I was like 12.
Okay.
So we're looking at around 1996, 1997, and actually, and I've had.
When you graduated.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm 96, 97, right in that time frame.
I graduated in 97.
Because at that time, and that's when we talked about it last week, the guys who I was really gravitated to was like Bob Costas and Marv Albert. At that time I really wanted to be an announcer.
Okay.
Because I knew at that time, even though you know how sometimes it was a denial because I was in that thought that I was gonna be a basketball player, but I was gonna one summer I was just gonna blossom, be 6 feet tall. I think I gave it a dream maybe like 10 years ago. I still thought I was gonna be 6 feet tall. Even at 20-some years old, I thought I was gonna be 6 feet tall.
Okay.
I thought I was gonna have this miraculous growth, but of course, luckily I had a plan B, and I knew if I'm at 6 feet, what am I gonna do? So of course, it was one of those things where it was one thing I had it in my heart, but I didn't follow through. So of course, you're going through the emotions. I graduated from high school in 2002. So of course, at that time, not knowing my true self, I let others dictate, or not dictate, more so, I let others, in other words, choose the moves that I did. As far as getting advice from family members or certain people, where it was imperative, because at that time I was going to do computers. I was going to go to college and do computer science. And because at that time I was doing website design back when I was in high school. So doing that, and then I was like, well, the computer, and then I kind of grew not fond of it. And it was more so of, well, God, if I get this, I'm going to make X amount of money when I come out of school if I do this. And I'm like, you know what? That's not your path.
There you go. You didn't feel
right. So then time passed, and I actually was the most weirdest thing. It was a broadcast school in town, and they had a commercial, which was the most craziest thing. I'm watching a Redskin game, and I see something about a broadcast school, and I'm like, man, I need to call these people.
I think I remember that. Do you remember what the commercial was like? I think I remember seeing something like that.
To me, it was a sign. It was a sign that, like, you know what? You need to do this. Don't let fear, don't let stupid stuff deter you from calling these people. So I called on that Monday and we talked. It was like during the holiday season, so they had like an open house, and you know we was talking, and I was like, you know, this is what I want to do. So there was like 5 or 6 of us in the class, and you know it was. And we had like it was like maybe like a 9-week program or curriculum that we did. It was one of the guys who were on there who I still, even though he hates me saying this type of stuff, but I think he was early on one of my and even to this day he was a mentor. Mm-hmm. At the time he actually was doing a sports talk radio show on the AM station at the time. Okay. And I remember he told me, you know, Chris, man, come back any Saturday because he used to show from like 10 to 12 on Saturday. So he came, and you know, we in this room and we talking. It's funny because they're talking about certain things, and I remember we were talking about, because at that time I think Jim Tressel was in trouble. So they was like, hey, what's cool to Jim Tressel go to? So I'm got my little notepad, and I'm like, Youngstown State. Doing that type of stuff. Because at that time I was still kind of had that fear and that type of fear of getting on the mic and stuff. And it's funny because after we ate, after the show was over, we went to a spot and we had lunch. And it was funny because we were all talking, and I owned the room, like as far as when we had conversations and we were just talking about stuff. So the next Monday he come in, and, you know, I'm still kind of like scared of getting on the mic and stuff. He was like, look, do what you did when we was at the restaurant on Saturday. He was like, you held your own against everybody. And all it is that you're simply talking with your friends. He was like, there's the most simplest thing, like don't overthink it. Because at that time I was overthinking things and like kind of scared to do it. So he's like, do what you just did at this restaurant. You held your own, you made great points about stuff, you had us thinking, you had us on our toes. You got it, you're in your own way. Yeah. And that's something it's funny, even though that happened 6 years ago, I can almost even hear him saying it to me now. Even when I say, even in there's a slight inherent fear, and I think about that conversation on that Monday in, what was it, March or April of 2011. I think about it even now, almost 7 years later.
Wow. So that was in 2011?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then of course from there, we had a show. We did like a show for like 3 months, and then I somewhat took a hiatus. And then in January of 2012, I had the opportunity to go on this show where it was we were like a 5-member crew where we had a female host and a female co-host. We also had entertainment on the segment, and also I was a sports guy. And we also had a DJ. Okay. So I was there for a good period of time, for like a year and a half or so. And also in that time, I actually was on the same station. I was a co-host for a sports talk radio show at that time. Okay. And that lasted. Both of those opportunities ended in 2013. So of course, you know, I went back and kind of going back to the drawing board, and you know, and I actually. It was one of those things where I didn't know what was next. Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing, actually at the time, the station that I was at that particular time, because they, you know, of course the sports show kind of dissolved, and it was a random. We talked like I think, matter of fact, it was in February of 2014. He was like, "Man, you need a show." And, you know, it was funny because I remember I was at a University of Richmond basketball game, and I remember. And it was weird because back then when I used to go to those games, I would have bad cell service. But for some bizarre reason, that message came through. That was another thing where it's like these things like that don't happen. Like, because normally when I go there,
it happens when it's supposed to happen.
Right. And then he hits me up in February of 2014, like, you need to have your own show. He was like, it's time. And he was like, and talking with him, and he gave me reassurance and was like, honestly, I think you should have had your show since 2012. You just, you know. But I thought at that time it was perfect for me because I needed to have those type of steps to go forward to where I am now, where, you know, of course, and hence, you know, so it took me about a few months to kind of think about it and, you know, overthinking it, which I finally broke down in June of 2014 and was like, you know what, let's do it.
Okay.
So on July 19th, 2014, Couch Coach Powell was born. And of course, and even during that time period, we had some gaps, certain things that was beyond my control at the time. And that ended in actually August 16th of 2016, that situation that happened there. And once again, you know, going through the motions and going through stuff and just, you know, just going through it. And now, like, you know, what's next for me? So, of course, and it's so funny, and it's perfect because Mark's in the room. I don't know why on God's green earth I didn't reach out to you sooner, because in my mind I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to, you know, I want to get back. I just want to find a spot. But I think it was one of the things where I had to be ready.
Yeah.
So I hit him up, and it was so funny. I hit him up it was like January the 3rd. It was on a Thursday of this year. And he was like, give me a call. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm at work. And you know, because you know what I'm saying, you let
what made you, that's what I'm saying.
What made me go here, because actually it's something it's almost like I looked at the station before at one time, and I kind of was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But then something told me, just go and do it. Just go and do it. Something in my heart just told me to do it. Because I was gonna actually, at one time I was gonna try to reach out like right around like the winter of last year, whatever. Just, you know, at that time, but like, you know what? The new year helped, because it was like, you know what? You ain't got time to wait. You got to do this now. You have to have the time to talk with yourself. And it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? Just do it. I don't care what the outcome. Do it. Because I was like, oh, well, what about the time frame? So I kept on telling myself, don't care. This goes back to a guy, a guy I knew, it was part of the class. He was like, if you have an opportunity to do a show, I don't care if they say you can do it at 2 a.m. Do it. Do it, man. Do it. He said, doesn't matter. I think it was January 30th, the last Thursday of this year. I think it was January. I think it might have been January 1st, I'm not sure. But I knew it was the last Thursday. It was the Thursday before the Super Bowl. So I hit him up. It's like, give me a call. And I was like, all right. And it's funny, the moment he gave me the money, and I was at work. Now, imagine I'm at work, and I'm like, I'm gonna call him right now, because it's like, I want to, get this done. And it's like, we talked, and it gave me a calmness, because like, it was like, we talked, he told me what's the deal, what's my slots, how much everything is. Cool. Told me come Monday. It was Monday after the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just gonna sit here, just observe. He said, no, you sit in this chair. I was in this chair. Matter of fact, I was in this chair. Because I was in this chair. And he was like, you know what, you gonna talk. And it was so funny, ever since then, it's like, I knew from there, that day, I was like, I'm signing the contract. And this is what I knew then, I'm here. I'm home. Mm-hmm. It was the most, it felt good. It was like, you don't know me from a can of paint. We just met. But you know, 72 hours ago. But
your story is different, but it's like his. That's why, once I heard his story, like, and I'm listening to it, playing it over on demand, all you have to do is go to www.legacy.internetradio.com, and when you Google it, it's going to say on demand, and just click that if you can't find it, because trust me, I had to do the same thing. So, but when you listening to it, that's why I won't, and I can break it down like somewhat that you can see, because I went through the same 01. Mm-hmm. I helped a friend of mine, shout out to my man Franklin McKenzie, DJ Ken's Frank Bills, who did my intro. I helped him get his first apartment, which he helped me get my first apartment, right? But he went on, and I went back home. I got arrested. So then what I did was put myself on punishment, and I ended up going way up almost to $1 million to work at Movie Gallery. My co-host, he worked at Movie Gallery. So we had a lot of things that we could relate to in some type of way. But it introduced me to Richmond. This is how I started to get to know Richmond. It was the funnest job I ever had. But it provided me, I was so disappointed in myself. You know what I mean? So a lot of those questions you was having about yourself, I was having that at the same time. You know what I mean? Because it changed my life. It made me look at things like, who was going to be there for my brother? you know, if I was to get locked up, this, and that. But then it started putting me, now that I look back, wasn't about me, it was putting me in the place to be where I'm at right now, to show a balance, whereas you think nobody's looking at you, but somebody is paying attention to you, and it ain't just the Most High, it is Shawn. You know what I mean? Because I have a lot of friends. I met so many people coming through that movie gallery, and if they see me, they be like, I got a radio show. Can I get you on it? Oh man, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So I went through the same thing, but when we talk about these dates, it's just ridiculous how I'm like, man, that's 2011 year, right? Man, July 19th, August 16th. Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? But wow. You want to say something, Paul?
No, I've been here obviously the whole time.
Yeah.
And just enjoying watching you guys build, because, you know, when you talk about what your story is, it's like, oftentimes you hear parents say things like, I want to give my children things that I didn't have. You hear that kind of mentality. And, you know, when I first started doing radio, you know, the guy that we were doing radio with, you know, no shade or disrespect towards him, but there were certain ways that he ran that particular location that were different. Yeah. And some of the things that I learned were things that I decided that I was going to do differently when I had an opportunity to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you come in this room, it's about love. It's about peace. It's about building. I mean, sometimes we have some very, you know, fiery debates and discussions in here, but then when we leave, we leave with a K.
And we feel so good when you have those debates. Yeah. You get rid of it, and then you know it's still love. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the beauty of it.
Well, it's also important for me because I know what it feels like to have that creative energy bubbling inside of you. And sometimes you don't know how to get rid of it, and sometimes you do, but you don't know if what you're doing is the right thing to do. And so it was important to me to be the medium of providing that opportunity to folks who want to do it. Because that was me. I wanted it so bad. We did this in somebody's house, in the kitchen. I always bring that up to show the hunger. Yeah. Because you need to see that the hunger is there, these from us, and so for me. And so when I see you guys coming along behind me, I'm like, word, this is real dope to me.
I called him at work too. and I was having a bad day. Because when I went back to my old job, and that's the thing, is like, I felt like was being held, like it was like I'm being held, and then when I held back or being stalled for something, and I'm like, okay, Most High, what's going on? And it's like, what do you need? I need for you to just learn some things. What do you need? I need to make a little bit of money, so I'm delivering wine. Then Bing Maps came, you know what I mean? Say, but I'm gonna give you this job, but I need for you to heal. I need for you to do this. I need for you to pay attention to some stuff. But I'm gonna do this. So then it's like, okay, then I'm back to square one. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, I knew something was still going to come because I was told that. Shout out to Diane Rose. She's in Houston. I told her happy birthday. I was Googled her. I said, I want to make sure you okay. You know what I mean? And she said she's doing fine. So that's what's up. But she gave me some information, and she said, I know you don't want to go back home, but you're going to go back home. And you're not going to be, think positive. You know what I mean? I ended up going back to my old job that I've been at since I was 19. My boss that came, he got the gout. He out of work, so everything's on me. And then I got the phone call. I said something. And, being in this community, I kept trying to get Ashley that was here. I got everybody else to be my friend. But Ashley was on the radio, and I was like, yo, if I could just get on there, I ain't even trying to be a part. I just want to see what's going on. You know what I mean? She would not accept my friend request. I still haven't even met the young lady. And then come to find out, she's from the city. She's from Northern Virginia. And I'm like, I got friends that I came up with that was friends with her, but that was cool. So I told Amy at Sage Connection, she said, Shawn, what do you want? Because I'm bringing people together. And I'm like, man, I just want to go up there and then see what's up and then charm them. I'm going to charm the hell out of them too, And I said, just so I can, we can promote this, and I just want to be a part of it. And eventually, let's see where we can go. And then I was having a really bad day. Really, really bad day. And then I said, man, give me something. I went up front. I seen one of my old bosses when I first started. You know what I mean? Ohio State alumni. He went to school to be a technical something, but he's like a big wig in Food Line. He said, man, I just didn't really want to do that. I wanted to do something I could do every day. Long story short, I gave him all the praise because I was like, man, I appreciate you so much for the time I was 19 because I'm one of the best at what I do at this job. You see, some stuff I do, it can't be taught. So she said, Shawn, she called me. She said, look, do you love me? I got his number. His name is Marcus J. Blah, 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 blah. I hit him I think I called him that evening. And we talked about 20 minutes while I was at work. And we did. And we just went at it. And first thing, I was trying to find a way to relate to somebody. And first thing I asked him, I said, where you from? He said, Jersey. I said, oh, where? I grew up in Jersey. You know what I mean? And then we just went from there. And I felt the same way. You know what I mean? But he told me when I came up here, he was going to put a microphone in my face. You know what I mean? But then I used my magic because I was scared. I had fear. I was like, well, man, I think I'm going to be busy at this time, blah, blah, blah. In my life, people pull. You know what I mean? Because I'm almost like a savior. I'm a warrior, man. I'm a protector. So when I'm not around, people always pulling me from all these different directions. So he was respecting me enough to say, I said, just give me a couple weeks. And then, because for real, I might not even call him if that bar incident didn't happen, just to procrastinate about it for fear. You know what I'm saying? But man, when there's something else written for you, it's like you said, it was something that said, do it. Yep. I called him that day, and then we set another appointment up, and this is where we're at, man. And the cool thing is, like I said, when I heard him tell his story, I was like, yo, for real, he is really like us. Yeah. He really is. He is really, really, really like us.
Yeah, and it was funny talking last week, and I was like, I mean, we literally would have crossed paths like 3 or 4 directions because, and this is, where you were, we were in the same place. There was a show that you had, I was a part of in a certain realm, was here. I would have been there if I would have jumped ship there anyway. So it's funny how these things work. Yeah. Like how literally like you're here, I'm right here. Like I mean in different realms. Yeah. And it's funny how it ultimately led to me being here.
Yeah, and like even Coach works for Coke, and he works where he works at now. I deliver wine, so I know I'd have met him 200 or 300 times. You know what I mean? Yeah, and seriously, and then 2 of his best friends, I know Chance, I met JJ. Trust me.
You know what I found is really cool about 1 is conversation, and 2 Legacy Internet Radio is that everybody that's in Legacy Internet Radio came through somebody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we take serious the whole referral thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the original, what I like to call the original 7, would be Jay Grizzy and Big Rube and Carlton Banks and First Lady Lissa P and Author Charisma, Miss Tony, yours truly. It's kind of what I call the original 7. Because they were the ones that were with us over at the place that we used to be. But pretty much everybody who's part of the crew came through one of them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I take a lot of pride in that because we take care of our home. We got family like that. Jay Grizzy, of course, was the original, was the first, followed by Carlton Banks and then yours truly. But Jay Grizzy brought in the next 3. Yeah. And then we all just kind of built around that. And now if you look up, it was one show. And you look up now, we on every day. Yeah. Every day. Today, Saturday, we got 2 shows today. Yeah. Tomorrow, we got 3. Tomorrow we got 2 on Sunday. And starting in October, we'll have 3 on Sundays. So all of that is community. And the potential for us as Legacy Internet Radio to do things locally, to do things globally, to do things in the community and beyond is immeasurable. Like all we got to do is do it. Like we literally we have a TV show that's coming back next month in October. A television show. Like I never thought that we was going to be doing this. I really didn't. And I didn't start any of this for any fame and glory. I started this for your story and for your story. You know what I mean? Like you hear people say things like, if I could just reach one. You know what I mean? Like you guys want to be here. Like you want to be here and you're excited to be here. That's all any of us really want. And I appreciate the accolades. You know, I get a little bit embarrassed by it sometimes, but
I'm gonna blow you up.
I know you will. And you make a point of every time I see you.
Yeah, man, because you deserve it.
You throw your respectful jabs out there, and they're not even jabs. It's just I'm picking on you now, but it's all love and it's a cool thing. But I always like to make the point that I'm humble with it because I didn't start any of this for me. None of this was for me.
And I know, but part of it, I know deep down, it was a dream. Just like you said, you didn't know what you wanted to do, and then you went to BET. And that old BET it's really needed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being perfectly honest with you. Because, I be looking at my baby, right? And I'm like, I don't know, your daughter, I don't know if your daughter do, but what I'm noticing these kids do, they go on YouTube, right? You know what they watch?
Yeah.
They do this Minecraft thing. Did you know that? Like I'm saying that they don't even play the game. They just sit there and watch other kids play the video game on YouTube. You
know what I learned about that? My daughter watches other young people fulfill their destiny on YouTube. Most of what she watches, very rarely will she look at the television. Yeah. She mostly watches YouTube, and the people that she's watching on YouTube are creative young people that people like us would never have heard of before, but they have a following on YouTube just because they grind and they work hard. And they just having fun because like this young man right here, we did a drop and it was like one take. And he had the biggest grin. And I'm talking about Coach, everyone. He had the biggest grin. And I said, yo, you really like a big kid, aren't you? He said, you figured me out, man. You figured me out. And you need that though. You need that. You need that. Like you need that. I'm the man, let me tell you. I know the other half, the end of this, we don't go because I want to know about the future. Because we spoke. I already know he's Jim. Yeah. I already know that he got a lot of creativity in him, and it's going to. I already know. You know what I mean? And I asked him I'm talking about Marcus J. What is one of his biggest pet peeves? And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. He said just communication. And that is so important. We're literally in the business of communication right now. So he's somewhat been through it already. So he already knows what you're going through. So why not just be honest and just be straight up so we can try to figure something out and just be, you know what I mean? I know how it is when you're trying to control your circle or you're trying to control your things and you like, okay, this dude owns this, so I want to make sure my stuff is straight. No, sometimes you need to go out there and you need to sit down because he looks like this is a movement and you're a part of this, so he understands the importance of family. Man, I ain't felt that in a long time. But that I learned that. You know where I learned that at? Jersey. Yeah. That's real talk. Yeah. Cause like my Jersey homeboy, when he came to VA and we was all everybody popped up and I ain't seen him in years. I was like, man, I ain't felt love like this in a long time. I'm gonna tell you something about that, right? In 1998, I moved from one apartment to another. At that time, I had been in Richmond for 6 years, 2 out of college. Had some of the same friends that I have to this day. And when it was time for me to move, I couldn't find nobody to help me move. But my 2 best friends drove down here from Jersey City, New Jersey to help me move around the corner. I'm just being honest. Around the corner. And there's no shade towards my Richmond friends, some of which I still have now. Yeah. But my 2 homeboys who I grew up with in Jersey City, New Jersey, drove 350 miles to help me move 2 miles. And that's what it is. And I'm going to tell you, one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen in my life, I'm seeing it in this room right now, and I saw it when my homeboys came down here to help me move. There's nothing more powerful than black men showing love towards other black men. Yeah. Black men showing love towards other black men is nothing more powerful. It's the reason why we're oppressed and we're hated. Yeah. Because once we come together, You can't be
and I'm gonna tell you that's the truth. That's true because they don't. There's no loyalty like that anymore, man. I'm telling you.
They want us to go against each other,
and
that's what it is.
Even talking about this, it reminds me of what I was learning when I was meeting people at movie gallery. Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys, people that I met, that I'm still cool with. So sorry. Pause for the cause. But no, I had learned, I learned that, and the stuff that I learned, the traits that I learned from Jersey, especially from Jersey, I carried here. And those gentlemen that I was with, they had never felt that before. And that's so real, man. Like one of the dudes I felt like was my enemy. His father was getting real sick. He came to me. It was something about me. They had to come, and it was those traits. I'm telling you, I learned from Jersey. That's, we got to put that aside. This is real, So, quick question. So you from Jersey, right?
I am.
Was you a 5%? What was your name?
No, I didn't study the Nation of Guns and Herbs actually until I moved to Richmond, which I'm not a part of.
No. Because when I was in Jersey, everybody, that was the thing. Brand Nubian was out. They couldn't tell us nothing. Yeah. Everything was word is bond. Word is bond.
Yeah, but what's funny about that is because it's our age difference. Yeah, that's your experience. Yeah. Because by the time that was popping, I had already moved here.
Yeah, you like my name was the Bond Righteous King.
Yes, I didn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't study it. Yeah. I didn't study it in them days. I actually studied it in my 30s. All right. So I could probably, if I thought about it, I could give you today's mathematics. But I didn't take a name.
Everybody, like, I couldn't do anything, man. They was like, Shawn, get your name here, man, pick it out. And he was like, man, but I got one for you.
One thing I'll say about that whole thing, though, right? I get a little bit, and I won't take a lot of time to say this, I get a little bit frustrated sometimes with us, our people, because we will readily accept what is given to us by folks who don't look like us. Uh-huh. When you look at the Nation of Guns and Herbs, the 5%ers, and a lot of us laugh about it, and I do too. Yeah. But they were created in the ashes of someone who left the Nation of Islam, who taught black people that you are God. Now, if you study it, you understand the whole black man is God thing. But if you don't study it and you just hear the black man saying that he's God, you roll your eyes at it. And we oftentimes don't show a lot of respect for folks that look like us doing what we do. We oftentimes are prey to Caesar Borgia, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, and they call him Jesus, which even wasn't even his real name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if I say I'm God,
you're crazy.
I'm a crazy person. Right. And I just love that culture. When that came out, I loved it, the whole Brand Nubian thing, the whole Righteous Teachers thing, and the whole Arrested Development and all of that kind of stuff. So, and I didn't take the time to study it back then. I just was infatuated with it. But I guess probably maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I guess in my late 20s, early 30s, when I started studying, I was like, this stuff is brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, I'm not no front, but I just remember being in Jersey, and that was like the main thing. And then I had to move. I had a big round top with the fade.
Oh yeah, I think that was part of the script.
Yeah, I had the big round top with the fade. I had the tail in the back next to the middle of my.
No, we didn't do that. Hey, that was something that you brought from somewhere else.
They don't get it twisted. I went on it.
He had a rat tail with a shame.
Use skins and cross colors. I'm like, see, I didn't try to put everything on me.
I had a red tail too, man. And it was so funny because I feel like in second or third grade, so I cut it, right? So I cut it. So the teacher had me put it on a piece of paper and tape it up. I had to go home to my great grandmother's house because she used to keep me at the time while Mom was at work. Man, she tore me up.
I had Shag. You guys remember Shag?
Yeah, I remember
Shag. Yeah.
That's great.
But I got from Jersey right at the right time because that stereotype about cars being stolen and all that type of stuff. Yeah. I got out right at the right time because I could tell. Because really, I left, and then like 3 years later, somebody popped up in Virginia looking for me. So it just lets you know how blessed I was, you know what I mean? Because I was on my way. And my cousin told me, he said, I remember you coming to Ohio, you were different. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we take a little break, that summer when I moved back to Ohio, I met the king at a young age. He had the tallest high top you've ever seen in your life. And at the time, when nobody wearing high tops, we were wearing round tops and braids and blah, blah, blah. So I think I told Marcus this this story when I called him. It was a half court. It was on the north side of Akron. And my cousin set me up. They already knew who he was at the time, right?
Yeah.
So they was like, Shawn, stick him. I was like, all right. I was like, okay, cool. I got it. I think, you know, and then it was half court. They had the ball. He do that move where he walk up and hit you with that shoulder. He had to be like, I'm telling you, he was young, man. He hit me with that shoulder real quick. Boom. They threw it to him and he grabbed it and he dunked and he just laid it up. And then I clowned him for about 10 minutes about his clothes and his high top. But that's my ignorance of being young. And like I said, I was somewhere else. And looking at him now, I'm like, wow. Because I said, man, what you trying to be in the NBA? Who would have thought it? We're going to take this break. This is a New Balance at a Legacy Internet Radio. We'll be right back.
When he was Slam magazine.